Stop now. Breathe. There is a reason you are here. This message is not for just anyone, but if it has found you, it is because your soul has already begun to awaken, even if you have not yet realized it. The Emerald Tablet is one of the most enigmatic documents in human history, and it does not begin with empty promises. It begins with a direct and powerful call that you cannot ignore. It is true without falsehood, certain and most true. In ancient times, repeating such a statement was not a simple, meaningless ritual. It was an oath, a spiritual seal. To break one's word was to sever one's connection with the source. Today, in a world where truth seems to bend to convenience, this message resonates like thunder in the desert. If you feel something stirring within you as you hear these words, it is because the tablet has come to remind you of something your mind has forgotten, but your soul has never lost. It's not about believing, it's about remembering. It's about crossing a threshold that will forever change the way you perceive yourself and the universe. If these first words have made something vibrate inside you, give it a like right away. It's not a trivial gesture, it's our silent pact. So I know that you are not here by chance, that this call concerns you, and that what comes next will be welcomed by a ready heart. Thank you. And now I will reveal to you the 5 eternal teachings that the Emerald Tablet has guarded for centuries, waiting for the right time to reach you. But what is hidden within will manifest without, and the invisible will be known through the visible. Stop everything for a moment. Take a deep breath and imagine the scene. Before the first star shone, before the first sound vibrated in the void, before time even began to flow, there was only one thing. Something without name, without form, without limits. It was not matter, it was not space, it was consciousness, pure, infinite, silent, and alive. This is the force that the Emerald Tablet speaks of when it mentions the One. It is not a theory, it is not a mere suggestive metaphor, it is a revelation. Consciousness is not a product of creation, it is creation itself. It is the invisible source that, overflowing from itself, has generated all that exists. The entire universe, stars, galaxies, atoms, mountains, rivers, dreams, spheres, is but the reflection of consciousness in motion. You were not born just to survive or simply exist. You were born to remember, to rediscover within you that spark that was pulsating before the world was born. But why would consciousness need to expand? Because in its pure and absolute state, everything is so full, so complete, that there is no contrast, no perception. The eternal silence needed sound to be heard, the light needed darkness to be seen, life needed death to be valued, love needed absence to be felt deep within the soul. And so that consciousness could know itself, the One exploded into 1,000 faces, multiplied in forms, worlds, and experiences. Everything you experience, everything you feel, is not an accident. It is an ancient millenary strategy to awaken consciousness. Every tear you shed, every smile that lit up your face, every loss, every finding, every pain, every ecstasy, was and is a bridge so that one day you can remember where you came from. The pain you feel is not a punishment, it is a reminder. The emptiness that tightens your chest is not a mistake. It is the echo of the home your soul has always known, but has temporarily forgotten. And the pleasure, the joy, that feeling of completeness, even if only for a moment, those are memories. Memories of who you truly are. Life itself expanding, the One experiencing itself through your existence. But the journey of consciousness does not stop at the simple memory of who you are. There is something even deeper, more shocking, waiting to be recognized, because when you discover your true essence, a new perception begins to arise. You and the universe are not two separate things. You are the same creation, the same mystery reflected on different scales. What is above is like what is below. What is below is like what is above. These words echo in the Emerald Tablet like an ancient whisper, an invitation to see beyond the surface of things. And that invitation is more real than you might think. Your body, with its complex architecture, is no accident. It is a living miniature of the cosmos itself. Every beat of your heart resonates like the pulsating stars. Every cell, every atom is a microcosm of worlds that follow invisible laws. The same ones that govern galaxies, planets, and solar systems. The ancient Egyptians knew this. When they looked at the human being, they saw more than just flesh and bones. They saw the vibrant image of the gods, the sacred manifestation of universal harmony. To them, humans were the living temple of creation. This was not a mere metaphor, it was a sacred reality. The Hebrews, in their most ancient texts, affirmed that man was created in the image and likeness of God, not in a physical sense but in structure. The tree of life of the Kabbalah, with its branches and intertwined spheres, mirrors the subtle centers of the human body. Just like the hidden forces that shape the universe, the Pythagoreans in ancient Greece taught that the human body is governed by the same proportions that govern the music of the spheres. They believed that every part of the human being vibrates at a specific frequency, corresponding to the notes of the great cosmic symphony. For them, mathematics was the secret language of the soul and the stars. And you carry that cosmic signature within you. Your bones are like the columns of ancient temples. Your eyes are like mirrors of distant nebulae. Your breathing follows the secret rhythm of the expansion and contraction of the universe. They describe the birth of a human being not as a mere biological accident, but as a sacred operation, a true celestial alchemy in which cosmic forces united to create something unique. The sun, for these traditions, was not just the star that lights up our days. It was the living presence of the Spirit. The sun represented the vital principle, the divine spark that descended from above to bring energy, direction, and light to what was about to be born. The Spirit was not a metaphor, it was the breath of purpose, the burning core of consciousness that came to inhabit matter. The moon, with its silvery, ever-changing glow, was seen as the keeper of mental substance. It did not merely reflect the light of the sun, it shaped it, weaving the first veils of the soul. The moon provided the subtle envelope, the plane upon which thoughts, emotions, and memories would be spun. It provided the malleability necessary for consciousness to experience, learn, and evolve into form. The earth, on the other hand, was not merely the ground beneath our feet. It was the great nurturer, the one who silently offered the new being the dense matter, the vital nourishment necessary to exist on the physical plane. Flesh, bones, blood, everything that made possible the interaction with the material world came from the womb of the earth, but the earth alone was not enough to create the complexity that we are. Something was still missing, the finishing touch, and that came through the wind, the breath of life. The ancients called it Numen, the invisible breath that passed through the worlds carrying the essence of existence. The wind was the bearer of mystery, the one who crossed the abyss between spirit and matter, breathing into the new being the capacity to live, to feel, and to transcend. When the sun, the moon, the earth, and the wind met, something extraordinary happened. A human being was born, not just any human being, but a creature made of multiple dimensions, able to dream of the stars while walking among stones and rivers, capable of suffering and loving, of losing himself and finding himself again, of falling into oblivion and still carrying deep within his soul the memory of his true home. And it is from this magnificent birth, woven by the forces of the sun, the moon, the earth, and the wind, that the most silent and at the same time most monumental mission begins, the mission of embodied consciousness. When consciousness merges with matter, it does not dissolve, it does not corrupt, it does not get lost in the oblivion of time. It simply puts on a new suit, adapting itself like a traveler who crosses deserts and frozen seas, donning the right clothes for each land. Every body, every life, every experience is just a new landscape in the long journey of the soul. But its center, what you really are, remains intact, pure, beyond the reach of pain, illusions, and the temporary roles that life tries to impose. This is the great mystery that many ignore. Even when you forget who you are, even when you lose yourself in the masks, pressures, and storms of the world, your essence remains alive, like a flame hidden under the ashes, intact, tireless, silently waiting for the moment when you will finally remember. And it is from this reunion that we begin to understand the true teachings of the Emerald Tablet. For now, more than ever, you are ready to cross the doors that Thoth has opened for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. In the next few steps, we will dive into the 5 teachings that contain the map of this profound remembrance. And each of them holds a key to your true freedom. Discernment is more than just a choice. It is learning to see beyond appearances. It is recognizing in the chaos and distractions what is essential and what is only a passing shadow. Because the world around you is full of voices, images, and promises, each trying to capture your attention, pretending to be the ultimate truth. And if you don't know how to discern, you will end up wasting your life chasing mirages. When Thoth speaks of separating the subtle from the dense, he is not just referring to material things, he is referring to an inner art, the ability to perceive the essence hidden beneath forms, to recognize the silent truth behind the noise of the world, to see not only with the eyes of the body, but with the eyes of the spirit. This is where one of the greatest obstacles on the path emerges: emotional projection. The human mind, governed by desires, fears, and memories, tends to paint the world with its own colors. If we like something, we judge it as good. If we dislike it, we label it as bad. But what is it really, without the filter of personal taste, without the distorted lens of selfish interest? The awakened consciousness is not fooled by emotions, does not chase pleasure or flee from pain. It observes, it investigates. It learns to see things for what they are, not how it would like them to be. And in that clean look, without frills, without masks, true wisdom begins to emerge. Tolstoy warned, "Some people walk through a forest and see only firewood, unable to notice the silent grandeur that unfolds there, the miracle of life in every leaf, in every root, in every breath of the wind in the branches." The sleeping consciousness sees only utility. The awakened consciousness sees the mystery, sees the beauty, sees the teaching, and it is the same in our life. When we look at people, situations, ourselves, what do we see? Only tools to satisfy our desires, only threats to our plans? Or are we capable of seeing the deepest truth that pulsates in everything, even in the hardest experiences? Discernment is freeing yourself from the mirror. It is stopping projecting your own wounds and expectations onto the world. It is making space for the invisible to reveal itself. Because what is essential, what is eternal, rarely shouts. It whispers. It hides in the details, in the silences, in the simplest gestures. And only those who develop true discernment can hear that call. This first teaching is a door. Without it, the next steps become almost impossible. Because if you cannot distinguish reality from illusion, how can you walk toward truth? How can you build a life that is not just a repetition of old mistakes? That is why, now that you have begun to remember who you are, the challenge is clear. Observe, feel, question. Do not accept anything without first deepening, because everything that is true in you, everything that is eternal, is strengthened in the silence of discernment. Living with full awareness is much more than escaping the material world or getting lost in the abstractions of the spirit. It is understanding that you belong to 2 realms at once. It is honoring physical reality with presence and respect, while keeping the soul connected to the subtler laws, those that govern the invisible. For centuries, civilizations have fallen because they denied one side of life. There were times when everything spiritual was seen as sin, as weakness, and times when matter, the body, and nature were considered nothing but a burden. But true wisdom, the one veiled in the words of the table, teaches something else. Balance is the key. Being a bridge is just that. It is living with your feet firmly planted on the earth, feeling the ground beneath you, without running away from responsibilities, without despising daily life, and at the same time with your head turned to the sky, remembering that something much greater guides every detail of your existence. Every action you take in the physical world, every word you speak, every thought you nourish is a thread that weaves reality. If you ignore the laws of the spirit, if you act only by impulse, by desire, you break that bridge and disconnect from the sacred. But if you also despise the concrete world, trying to live only in the realm of ideas, you become as ineffective as a tree trying to live without roots. That is why the teaching is so clear. Do not deny either world. Live between them. Understand what it really means to be human. You are made of matter and spirit, and each dimension has its beauty, its role. The earth supports you, provides you with the experiences you need to shape your consciousness. And the sky inspires you, guides you, reminds you of your greater purpose. Being a bridge is an art. It is knowing that material challenges are tools for spiritual growth. It is understanding that losses, joys, struggles, and lessons are part of a tapestry much larger than our physical eyes can see. You were born for this, to be a living link between the visible and the invisible, to connect what is above with what is below, to bring the light of higher realities into your daily life, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. And when you become aware of this mission, your life stops being a random series of events and becomes a sacred path. Every step, every choice, every moment becomes an opportunity to bring more heaven to earth and more earthly wisdom to heaven. It is in this state of consciousness that the true alchemist within begins to awaken. No longer running away from life or lost in it, but using everything that is given to him as raw material for personal evolution. And as we cross the bridge between earth and heaven, a new perception begins to reveal itself. True glory, the one we often seek in external applause, material successes, or comparison with others, is not out there, it is within. And this is the third teaching that the Emerald Tablet whispers to those who truly know how to listen. For centuries, we have been taught that success means surpassing others, beating rivals, conquering territories, accumulating more than others. This logic of infinite competition is not just an illusion, it is destructive, because ultimately, no one really wins in this way. When a human being seeks his own glory by crushing others, he only fuels the illusion of separation, and every separation is a source of pain. Thoth, through the tablet, reminds us that the real battle is silent, invisible to the eyes of the world. It is what happens inside our being, fighting against the darkness of ignorance, against the prejudices that blind us, against the fears that paralyze us, against the false certainties that prevent us from growing. True glory is not having the world applaud you, it is making your soul flourish. And here is the detail that almost always goes unnoticed. Wisdom is not just accumulated knowledge, it is integration. When you begin to see life with eyes free from illusion, you understand that everything is interconnected. Like the human body, which functions as a perfect unit in which every cell, every organ, every heartbeat serves the whole. No one asks whether the brain is more important than the liver or whether the foot is less worthy than the hand. Everything has its role. Everything is essential for the whole to exist and thrive. The same is true for us within the great body of creation. Competing with others is as absurd as thinking that your left hand must defeat the right. Seeking glory in others is a sign that we are still trapped in ignorance. But when we understand that the other is an extension of ourselves, that all existence vibrates in the same dance, we begin to taste true wisdom. And the most beautiful thing is that when this light begins to light up within us, all the darkness begins to dissolve naturally. Old fears lose their grip. Deep wounds begin to heal. Anxiety about the future and attachment to the past give way to a serenity that is not dependent on circumstances. Beating the world, winning titles, accumulating trophies, all of that is small. Defeating your own darkness, illuminating your being, that is true greatness. And when that victory happens, there are no noises, no fireworks, no crowds. There is only a deep silence, an inner smile, a connection with life so powerful that no words can truly describe it. This is the glory that Thoth silently reveals in his immortal tablet. This is the goal that no age, no empire, no fashion can ever take away from you. And it is in this frequency that we prepare to dive even deeper into the secrets that await us. For a long time, you will have believed that the limits of matter were insurmountable, that certain situations in life were insurmountable walls, that certain pains, losses, or difficult circumstances marked the end of the path. But Thoth, with his ancient wisdom, shows us a different vision. Consciousness not only passes through these walls, it dissolves them. The world has been carefully structured to appear solid, to appear immutable. But the reality is that every layer of matter, every difficulty we face, every shadow that challenges us exists to be passed through. It exists so that consciousness, in its silent and unstoppable march, can dive in, gather experience, expand its light, and proceed. It is as if the universe has scattered secret doors in every corner of existence, and every challenge is a key that can only be found by the consciousness that refuses to give up, that refuses to identify with what is temporary. When the body becomes ill, when a loss tears the soul, when a dream collapses, the immediate impulse of the conditioned mind is to give in, to believe that it is the end. But consciousness does not operate with the logic of the limited mind. It knows that every experience, no matter how hard it seems, is precious nourishment. It is a fragment of wisdom that, once absorbed, will never be lost. Consciousness moves through the dense and the subtle. It travels through pain and joy, through silence and chaos. And with each passage, it becomes stronger, wiser, freer. Look at your life. How many times have you thought you would not survive a certain situation? How many times have you thought it would be the end for you? And yet, here you are. You made it. You may carry scars, but with them you carry something even more precious: strength. That strength is not just resilience. It is not just the ability to endure. It is something much deeper. It is the consciousness discovering itself as indestructible. It is the awakening to the truth that no suffering, no blow in the world can touch the essence of who you are. And here is one of the greatest secrets of the spiritual path. Barriers are not there to destroy you. They are there to reveal you. Every challenge, every pain, every shattered illusion is an opportunity to realize that your true identity is not the body that feels, not the mind that suffers, not history that repeats itself. Your true identity is pure consciousness, and pure consciousness is invincible. When you start living from that center, something changes irreversibly. You face obstacles with new eyes. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" And in that moment, matter stops being a prison and becomes a training ground. Every pain becomes a lever. Every loss transforms into a new vision. You are not a fragile being dragged by circumstances. You are the force that barriers cannot stop. You are the consciousness that immerses itself in existence only to emerge even more luminous. And it is with this understanding burning within your chest that we approach the last essential teaching of the Emerald Tablet. Let us move forward, for the true power has yet to be fully revealed. Have you ever noticed how every moment of your life seems to invite you, almost insistently, to become stronger, wiser, more awakened? Perhaps you have experienced situations that seemed unfair, too burdensome, even cruel. But when you look more closely, how many of those situations have brought out abilities you didn't even know you had? How many past pains have forced you to grow, to mature, to look at the world with sharper eyes and a deeper soul? Thoth reminds us that all forms are adaptations. Nothing exists by chance. The entire natural world, with its cycles, its transformations, its endless dance of birth, death, and renewal, reflects the same principle. Evolution is the true law of the universe. Every experience that crosses your path is like a lesson carefully placed in the curriculum of your soul. Some lessons are gentle, like a breeze that caresses your face. Others are storms that strip away everything that is not essential, but all, without exception, carry the same hidden purpose: to expand your inner light, to make you remember who you really are. The most common mistake is to interpret challenges as punishments. But punishment is only the perception of a mind that has not yet understood the purpose of the journey. Through the eyes of awakened consciousness, everything is a lesson. Loss teaches detachment. Betrayal teaches discernment. Failure teaches humility. Pain teaches compassion. Scarcity teaches gratitude. Every turn along your path is a sacred lesson shaped by the universe itself, with the precision of one who knows exactly what your soul needs to flourish. If you resist change, the pain intensifies, not because life wants to hurt you, but because you are swimming against the current of your own evolution. When you understand that adapting is the supreme art of growth, something changes profoundly inside you. You stop asking yourself, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking yourself, "What is this situation trying to teach me?" Conscious adaptation is not resignation. It is not giving in to what hurts, but opening yourself to the wisdom hidden in every phase of life. It is trusting that every transformation, no matter how painful it seems, is bringing you closer to your luminous center, your true self. Imagine for a moment, what if everything, absolutely everything you experienced, from the smallest encounters to the largest emotional earthquakes, had been a silent preparation for the being you are destined to become? Would you still view your history with pain? Or would you start to see it as the epic saga of your own ascent? Life is movement, it is mutation, and to resist it is to resist the very cosmic intelligence that pulses in every atom of your being. That is why adapting is not a weakness. Adapting is the signature of wisdom. It is the courage to grow, to transform, to allow yourself to be reborn as many times as necessary to fulfill the true purpose of your existence. And so, through discernment, the bridge between the worlds, the attainment of wisdom, and the invincibility of consciousness, we come to the deepest understanding. To live is to learn, and to learn is to enlighten. This is the silent message that the Emerald Tablet whispers to those who dare to listen with an awakened heart. And now that this truth has touched you, it can no longer be ignored. For once consciousness awakens, the journey back to the One has already begun. And every step from here on, even the smallest, is a homecoming. And before you go, pay close attention. If this message found you today, it is not meant to end here. And if it touched your soul, let the world know. A like is a seal of truth. A comment is an echo of your essence. Share it with those who need to awaken. And if you want to walk further, sign up. Every new step will be a step together. The road is long, but no one should walk it alone. Where these words end, your journey begins. And if one day you feel lost, remember, even the stars sometimes hide, but they never stop shining. May you always remember the light that you already are. See you soon.